All right, here we are. Here we are. Another Friday, another wonderful Friday. It is the 6th, 2 days before we head down to warmer weather at the big ECS show. Us three will be there with robots. What could
Yeah.
possibly go wrong?
Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing. Some of us here are going to escape 5-degree weather,
That would be me.
and then another one of us is going to escape the crazy propeller heads in town, right? What's going on in San Fran? Something big? San Antonio, or what's going on?
Santa Clara. So we're hosting the Super Bowl again, and it's a madhouse here. I was driving through downtown San Jose the other day from my house to where I was meeting somebody, and I had to go by the San Jose Marriott Hotel, and the roads were blocked off, and police everywhere, and private cars were. So I think one of the teams was staying at that San Jose Marriott Hotel. So
Hmm.
Santa Clara, where they're playing at the 49er Stadium's probably 10 miles from me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's we hosted it, I don't know, maybe 12, 15 years ago, and they're doing it again. And last time, I mean, it was a
Yeah, what
big thing.
happened?
It,
Oh,
nothing. I mean,
oh,
well,
okay.
it was a good game. I remember that much. But they do things in San Francisco. They do things in San Jose. So they're the whole Bay Area. There's this like madhouse right now. And then
Well, that's
and then next week or next month we have GTC from Nvidia where they close down the whole city too, basically. Yeah, that's madhouse. So I'm like,
That is probably, I don't know, it might be madder or just as, I mean, I remember,
oh,
right? It's got to be
it
crazy.
it was last year. It was awful. I mean, I seriously, it was not.
It's going to be bigger this year. It's probably going to be bigger every year for the next 3 or 4 or 5 years until that, which
Yeah,
may never bell curve, especially
yeah.
with NVIDIA. God,
NVIDIA. It's a big
dang.
deal. Yeah, they're charging a lot of money to attend and all the events, and Jensen will be on stage and all that kind of stuff. So I'll just stay in Scottsdale forever, never
That's
come
good.
back.
Not a
There you
bad
go.
idea. God,
So
I was
that
just thinking
good.
about Jensen last night. A bunch of my buddies and I, we are still gamers we're old guys, but we're gamers. But we're all talking about, yeah, I remember the first video cards we got was one of those NVIDIA G3s, or I don't even know what it was called. But that's got to be 1999-ish, in that range. And NVIDIA was just this little nothing, right? You want a better video card for your gaming. That was it,
That's
right?
right.
Talk about niche. And
Yeah.
now,
I don't know the whole backstory, but Dan told me at one time it was like basically he put two things together and that became a kind of supercomputer at the time. Yeah, for gaming. And then now he's a $5 trillion company, right? It's pretty amazing.
yeah. Well, we can talk about him all day, that's for sure. But okay. So it is yeah, the 6th of February. First quarter is going to be done, god dang, almost less than 60 days. What's going on in the copier industry, Art? I got a couple things, a big thing.
Yay. I'm glad you asked.
Totally unprepared, unscripted. That's how we roll.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to roll through some head points. If you want to discuss it, just stop me. So the last thing on my notes was Rico decided to relocate toner production from the UK. That I believe the plant is in Ireland, and they're going to move it over to France. And I guess that's just going to be for the EU
Oh,
toner supplies that are being used, because Rico actually has a toner plant here in the US.
okay.
So of course there were some comments and people losing their jobs in Ireland, and I was in Ireland quite a few years. What is it? I think about 6 or 7 years ago, and Ireland's an interesting place where I guess you can say. I think my wife said there's a lot of people on the lamp, so that don't work. So
That don't work. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. They just rely on the government to support them.
Welcome
Uh,
to Europe. Yeah.
yeah. So just a little bit note on my trip to Ireland. Konica Minolta Q3 profit falls short of plan. Anybody want any details on that? It's all in yen, so that's kind of Greek to me.
Well, I don't think anyone's here surprised.
Yeah,
And
everybody's
not to pick on Konica, but it's the whole thing, man. It's not, not their, they're in, it's the industry.
no, it's just print's going down. There's And you know, Konica Minolta is big into production, correct?
Yeah, yeah, but that, that's a good
And
point.
it's
Yeah.
still going down.
Well, it's interesting that production level, correct me if I'm wrong, we're talking what, 100 pages. Oh, they had the foil stuff too.
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah, yeah. Here this says business contribution profit rose 20.5%. Operating profits swung from a loss of 18.5 billion, and we're talking about yen, in the prior year to a profit of 33.3 billion yen. But they still fell short of where they wanted to be. So,
Well, you go up to production, you're competing with big iron, big iron.
yeah. Well, right. Although there's still people out there, in our part of the world that's saying, hey, Xerox is doing really, really good. Man, I heard that from the guy the other day at $2.50 for their stock. He's going to invest in Xerox stock. What are you, freaking nuts?
Yeah, he's not whoever. Yeah, I mean, well,
Well,
maybe that person just started following because $2 with a big name like Xerox.
that person's that person is kind of in bed with Xerox. If you
Well,
know
then
who
I
I'm
was gonna say
talking about,
maybe.
the
Well,
guy
yeah,
with all the pictures of stuff in front of his desk.
okay, yeah. Um, but you got to look back, right? Before COVID, HP was going to buy Xerox, or they were looking to get purchased or do something before
Correct.
COVID,
Yeah,
and that
Yeah.
fell through.
remember Carl Icahn? He was an investor in both companies, Xerox and
Oh, that's
HP.
right.
And they were going to do, it was amazing because HP was a lot bigger company,
Hmm.
but Xerox was going to acquire them. And I was like, how's that going to happen? And it didn't. So,
It was going to be completely leveraged. It
yeah,
was going to benefit him
yeah.
because it would have been one of those merge and chop up deals. HP would have been killed, just diced.
Yeah.
Drax would have been gone. Wow. Well,
So
but then maybe it should have happened.
you remember last week when we spoke about Xerox could introduce their prorated warrant distribution? Well, they did.
Oh, really?
Press release 2 days ago.
No kidding. Any
Yep.
buyers?
I don't know, but my comment was I put a comment on there. The comment is simple, and it does. Will Xerox be around in 2030?
So you don't want them to be a sponsor of this show, do you, Art?
I don't think they can afford us.
Oh, I know that. I don't think anyone can. But anyway, I don't we're not relishing it. It's a great American company. It is the American
Yep.
copier company.
Yep.
So it sucks.
Hal Lloyd. Yep.
Yeah.
Chester Carlson.
Xerographic
1930.
process, the
19,
seven-step xerographic.
yep. 1937 with that little piece of paper that came over with the Astoria on it.
Astoria, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that can happen, the document imaging division of Kodak went kind of through this years ago, where they got spun off, and
Yeah.
then they were part of this UK pension fund, and then they got bought by private equity. So, those kind of iconic kind of companies end up in different forms, right? So Kodak Alaris is, they got good people over there, and they're
Oh
finding their
yeah.
way. But it's just
Yeah.
it's a different world, right? So, but that brand name, that's where you're going.
I was going to say that's what they do. I mean, they buy the brand. I think Kodak's a great example, right? And
Mhm.
it's happened with other, I can't remember anymore, but so the Xerox brand should carry global
Yeah.
Hmm.
Think
leverage.
about it. Think about it in 50 years, right?
Yeah.
So, funny story. My wife says I bought a really good microwave for us. And I go, okay, what brand is it? She goes, Black and Decker. I'm like, what? There's something to that effect where
Well,
the brand name, the company hasn't been around for years, but somebody acquired the brand name
yeah.
and then just relabeled a microwave on it.
Well, yeah. I think J.C. Penney had the same, or Sears, one of those other retailers that
Ken
someone
Moore.
bought the name.
But you know, you've made it when your company name as a noun becomes a
Yeah.
verb.
Yes.
Xerox is that.
Kleenex,
Kleenex. Yep.
Google
Google.
that.
Yep. Yep. It's not search, it's Google, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, then there's another phrase saying, and this I think might have been during the IBM years or earlier. Someone said, and I wish I could quote, it's like, you know you're in trouble when your strength becomes your biggest weakness. So IBM was really good at making mainframes. That's all they did until
Yep.
nobody wanted mainframes. So you're the best at making mainframes, but nobody wants it. You know, you're the best at making copiers, but now all that infrastructure, all that capital, all those 30 years of experience, the training, that's your biggest weakness because now you got to shed all that and start over. And it's, you know, it's worse than starting anew. You have to pull out all the twisted pair and put in fiber. And by the time you get fiber in, everyone's going wireless.
It's hard. You know,
So,
these big companies are like battleships. They're going one direction and can't deviate. It's
yeah,
hard.
same old story. And
So
wow. Anyway.
that next press release, Brother Industries is proposing to acquire Muto. Not sure if you're familiar with Muto, but
Yeah.
Muto is a large format print provider. So
Well,
they do a lot of color for if people are, are doing posters,
oh,
large,
that kind of stuff. Okay.
yeah, extra large. I call them grand. People will say large wide format. I call them grand wide format.
Okay.
So of course, Rico is looking to, I guess, diversify a little bit because of SMB or B2B business. Isn't what it used to be, and they are big into A4s and laser and inkjet, and here they're proposing to buy an inkjet um, grand or large format company.
Vinyl
uh,
signing and things like that, right? UV.
yeah, vinyl signing, posters, something that's 24 by 36, 36 by 48, or like you said, vinyl siding or stuff that goes even bigger. I think Muto also makes plotters, color wide format machines that also cut.
Oh, with cutters, yeah.
Yeah, with cutters.
Hmm. Wow.
So interesting, right?
Yeah.
Um, let's see what else. Konica Minolta's Laura Blackmere honored as 2026 CRN channel chief. That's happened quite a few years for her.
Yeah. I think she'll be in Phoenix.
Yeah, yes, she will.
Yeah.
Um, Epson wins Key Point Intelligence Scanner Line of the Year for 2026. It's interesting that they announced that in February. I mean, don't you
Who's
do
that?
that in 20?
Epson?
Yeah,
Epson scanners? Have you ever used one?
I've never used one. I've seen them.
Well, okay. Have you seen one work? I mean, what are they good or what do you think?
They look similar to the Fujitsu's or the Ricoh PFUs,
Are
and
they
the Kodak Alaris.
original Epson or are they all,
Now, I
someone
think
else?
they're original
All
Epson
right.
scanners.
All right. Good. Okay.
Hey
Well,
And
guys,
then,
this is Dan. They are original Epson and they're extremely high quality Japanese manufacturing. So I've got a number of them here that I've been
there we
doing
go.
testing with, and their drivers are great. The software is terrific. They really are geared up on both the print and scan side, on both ESCL for both printing and scanning with some kind of interesting tech. And
Yeah.
so they've got some good stuff.
Well, I know Epson LQ 2550s and FX 850s. Those are 9-pin and 24-pin dot matrix printers. So Epson's been around on the output side. Their laser never caught. They had some other thing. Didn't they have something else, Art? Was there LED laser? There's something weird different about their laser engines. But I didn't know anything about their scanners. I forgot. Yeah, Kevin and Dan, who are scanner lords of the scan.
Yep.
Um,
yes,
okay. So that's good. See, that's what we were talking about last couple of weeks. The scanning is, I guess, on its way up. Interesting. And Dan, you're using them right now, and you find them to be good. Did you say it's the software or the actual hardware? Or give us your opinion.
Both
Okay.
actually. I mean, coming from, FCPA, Fujitsu, a PFU company where Kevin and
Right.
I worked at, there's a difference between that high quality Japanese manufacturing and others. and
Right.
so Epson is that. I mean, it is that extremely high quality manufacturing. And from a software perspective, they're embracing kind of an open platform to get folks, using their products, and hopefully here soon, maybe with Twain Direct as a mechanism for network scanning. But because today most of the scanners are USB connected with old Twain, and so they're definitely they got a great team. They also have a play on the robotics side. They've got a great POS and print side. At that you can actually provide combine the two, the print and the scan, into a nice
Uh,
kiosk like I've seen at the Tractor Supply in my
And,
neighborhood. So
right.
and if you don't buy Epson stuff, Shaquille O'Neal will come break your legs.
Yeah.
exactly.
Hey, Dan, POS. I'm sure
No,
that's
it's not.
point of sale,
It's
right?
not. It's not a
Yes.
piece of shit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Point of sale.
Got it.
Well, Dan, have you seen the new Oki? God, their new Rico scanners that we've talked about before, right? But I'm wondering if you haven't. I haven't. I know Joe
I haven't
Barganier.
had hands on.
Okay.
I think Kevin, if I'm thinking about it, it's a copier, but then take like the older 5750 or ish engine and put that on top of the copier, and you got the great scanning engine too.
Is
Yeah,
that
Yes.
I was the product manager for that scan engine that they put on top. It's a really good one. We sold a
Really
lot of
good.
those. Yeah, it's
Yep.
good,
wow?
good paper handling, good image quality, and it's got a well, I don't know if it does it on the one on the Rico, but it had a 180 turret, so you can take the feeder and switch it to right-handed or left-handed, and you can't believe how important that was for
That was
certain customers.
important in a lot of deals. Yep.
No
Yeah,
kidding. I don't
yeah,
think that's. I think it's a standard. But what I see them selling is the multi. What is it? It'll take multi-size originals without
yeah,
choking.
because in most copy machines you have to run the paper through a path and it goes and it
Right.
gets. We always used to bash the copy machines because the
Easy
paper
to do.
gets.
Yeah.
But this has got a straight
Well,
paper path, it's got a straight paper path, so it comes in and goes straight out. So you can have thick stuff and thin stuff and odd size shapes and different colors, and it has exceptional paper handling, and that's why we sold a lot of them.
One feature that was kind of unique was long paper handling for things like fetal monitoring strips and oil well logs that might spit out 50
hmm,
feet at a time. And being
yeah.
able to scan those at one time was kind of a unique thing. It was really more of a challenge on the viewing side of what am I supposed to do if I've got a 50-foot long
Yeah.
JPEG, how am I
Yeah.
supposed to view that?
Those
So,
are good for gold mining logs as well.
Hmm.
hmm any log type
Yeah.
of a thing. So you could turn off
Hey,
the double feed detection and let it just flow through.
And it'll
so
just scan it. Wow.
Yep.
Dan, Dan or Kevin, here's a question for you. You said that the Fujitsu 5700 engine would rotate at 180 degrees, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What?
Right. So right-handed people, left-handed people for scanning, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
So that's interesting because 80% of the copy machines or MFPs out there that have scanners are for right-handed
Yep.
people. And the only left-handed one might even be 90%. The only left-handed one I know of is Fuji and Xerox because they're opposite.
I never thought of that. Now that you mention it, yeah, they're right-handed because you put the paper in this. You don't go like this, right? And put the
Right.
paper in the feeder. Yeah,
Hmm.
interesting.
I wonder if that's a play in sales. How many left-handed people do you have in your organization? Don't you think that maybe
So
a
so
a
Art, I'll give you a little. There's something called 508 compliance, and it's for
Handicap.
disability
Yeah.
handicap. Yeah. So like one of the reasons that was so useful in one of the deals we had was that people in wheelchairs can come up
Oh.
and they could just get to the paper, feed it in and feed it out easy. and so it was 508 compliant for disability.
Right.
And
Oh,
that
wow.
was
So I
really cool
guess that would be the same thing with this
for
with
yours.
the
It would
new
be,
SD series from Rico.
Well, I haven't seen it rotate. I mean, Joe talks to me about Joe
Well,
Bardigan. He was
maybe
a
it
Rico
doesn't.
rep.
Maybe it doesn't have to rotate for compliance.
No, well, it doesn't.
Right.
Because
It
all the
just
other
has
one.
to, it's just for compliance, it just has to have ease of getting the document out. You see, with all of the new feeders on the copiers, they've made them so they can fit. They used to fit 100 originals
Yeah.
and 200 originals. Now they can do 300 originals, right? But the problem is they had to make that document feeder much deeper, higher, right? So when the originals come back, when the originals are going to come back out, let's see. Now
Yeah,
they're still gonna put them on the platinum. So
no.
it's not like they're going to come out. See, at least with the new thing that Rico did with the SD series, they start here and they go here.
Yeah,
Right?
like Kevin was saying, it's flat. It's a flat.
Just like this.
They're
With the
not bending.
Ricos, they're going to start here and they're going to go here.
Oh,
Right.
and another thing that was 508 compliant, on some of those machines, you have to push a lot of pressure to open the glass. So they made a little bit less pressure and it was easier to open that. And we put that in the spec and say this, and these things make it accessible for and easier for people that don't have a lot of strength to lift the glass.
And so that's interesting because if somebody is on a wheelchair, those document feeders are have a little bit of weight to them. And I
yeah.
would tend to think for somebody in a wheelchair that can't get up, it would be harder to actually lift that document feeder up in case there was a misfeed.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Well, yours jam, mine misfeed.
They all misfeed. Hey, so Rico acquired another company. They acquired a Canadian workspace technology and collaboration integrator.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
ET Group.
Oh, maybe not.
So ET Group is a leading Canadian workspace technology and collaboration integrator. Acquisition, blah, blah, blah.
Isn't that office furniture?
Provider of end-to-end work experience in Canada. No, I'm going to go to their link.
I think it might be office furniture. Sounds like office furniture.
Canada's trusted audio visual integrator, designing, installing, and supporting AV for complex organizations. So I would tend to they're going to think, the type of stuff that's in that Chip is into.
Yep, the big monitors,
on the really, really big screens.
the speakers.
The speakers,
like those conference rooms. Remember the Halo
that
room?
are a wall. It's going to be a basically a video walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I'm looking at a picture here, and it actually shows a video wall.
Okay, that's almost right.
But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, they're showing a video wall here. It's got to be 60 inches wide by about 36 inches high in a conference room.
You guys remember the Halo rooms?
No.
HP, a conference room that would have projections. It was remote meetings, but it would have projections of each person life size.
Wow.
Yeah. It never took off. HP bought the company. It had all this sound stuff that when someone was sitting over there and they started to talk, the image would bright, there was all sorts of weird stuff, but it never really caught. It was probably too expensive. So, I had something that's copier related. Are you done, Art?
Yeah. That's it for the news I picked up.
All right. Well, this is kind of news, but it was the MPSA, near and dear, Management Services Association, had a analyst meeting online, and they had Jay McBain. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a IT services consultant. I don't know the name of his company, but he's a smart cookie, right? He was into AI 2 or 3 years ago. Omdia is the name of his company. Consultant. Robert Palmer, not that one. the one from yeah, might as well face it.
Yellow, not
No,
yellow.
Robert Palmer, Addicted
Yeah.
to
Addicted
Love.
to Love,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, he hates when people do that, but as you can imagine, right? Because he is not a rock and roller. Let's put it to that. Great guy. Anyway, Robert was there from IDC. Deborah Hawkins, who I don't know, but I think I met her once at Key Point, right?
Hmm.
And then Eric from the MPSA. So you had Key Point, Jay, and then IDC, Jay from Amdia, right? And they were talking about predictions in 2026. I remember this is the Management Services Association. So they wanted to be printy kind of stuff. All three of them had statistics, numbers that back up a growth in MPS globally of almost 2%. And it's pretty big right now. But I would have now I take
Did you say 2%?
two. But this ship moves really slow. Sometimes it's one and it's good. And I've never heard of anything over 3 or 5.
It's still print services, or is it things that they
Managed
throw?
print services.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, now so to be fair, MPS is not 100% hardware, right? It's a company that takes over existing volumes. So it doesn't mean new hardware. It means that the contracts in the MPS world are expanding by 2 to 3%.
It's by units or by revenue?
Revenue.
Okay, it could be that everybody raised their prices, right? And they're
Could
getting
be.
2%. Yeah.
Well,
How
it
about
could
all
be,
of
but
the,
in this case, it isn't. They adjust for that.
it's
Okay.
all
'Cause, yeah,
tariff increases?
could have been yeah, but
So
it's
you mentioned that's global. I would like to
yeah.
know the numbers for the USA.
They never said that, and no one ever. Whenever you get these MPSAs,
Yeah.
the MPS studies, no one ever says domestic. So
Because
when we would dig into it, it's like 12% reduction.
Yeah,
you're
regardless.
seeing growth in South America, and you're actually seeing growth in Africa.
Any of the developing countries always burn paper because
That's
all
correct.
the technology
Absolutely.
is paper based, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at the Western countries, the technologically advanced in the US is, for better or worse, the most technologically advanced business operating country in the world. And we're the biggest and the most, so, 2% up or down here isn't that much at all. And I think if you look at it domestically, it's going to be a decrease. But I don't know, because MPS agreements, like I said earlier, are not hardware based. So it could be as simple as I'm not selling 50 copiers a year anymore, but I have increased my MPS contracts,
Mhm.
right?
The
So
clicks.
yeah, my clicks, and they're just bought clicks. There's somebody else's clicks that I get.
Yeah.
We've talked about that forever. No one's generating new clicks. There are no new clicks. The images that are being generated, there's no new company coming out there. And today we're gonna make 10,000 more images than we did yesterday. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now that was interesting. But you're right, the global thing. A lot of AI, as you can imagine. I think a couple of them have it wrong, but that's okay. But Robert Palmer said something interesting. He envisions a day very soon when your MFP has AI in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
Absolutely.
yeah, we were touching on that 18 months ago.
Yeah. Now his example was document management, right? So you could scan it; it would know it's an invoice or a PO because of the AI in the machine, versus throwing it up to a server, letting document
Throwing
them.
it up to the cloud, letting the cloud do it. Right.
Right. So that's
So the fallback, I think when we were speaking about it 18 months ago, is
Mhm.
the processing space that the MFPs would need. Because right now, most of the MFP manufacturers are using cheaper
8-bit processors.
processors. Right. So you won't find a brand name processor in most of those MFPs.
Well, you won't find the equality, like a 486 or
and-
anything like that.
Right. And aren't they going to draw more power as well?
It's in theory.
Because that was something we actually spoke about probably a year and a half ago as well.
In theory, but the custom chips could be, but that, to me, that's a rabbit hole anyway. right? Because that's just another reason. It's not a big enough reason to buy a copier. Just get a scanner, right? So the copier is to copy, and that the reason to buy a copier, that's the reason.
No
That
one
reason,
copies anymore.
or even print, right? But
Yeah.
to scan, right? You've got the scanner. To copy, you need a scan. That whole thing goes together. So I don't know if, that's not a rescue, lifesaver for the industry.
If you're,
And we just mentioned some things. Yeah, you got about a new chip, the power, the logic, and if we know anything, these OEMs know really well how to destroy things. So I don't know if they're smart enough to do that. While to catch up to the curve that's coming down, you know what I mean? To say, okay, now we can bounce that curve because we've got AI empowered copiers.
Yeah,
right.
you got to do something compelling, right? But the copy machine, it has an operating system, it has storage, and it has a network. It's a computer, right?
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
scans and prints. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they've been decreasing costs as much as they can, but to put a GPU that's capable of doing enough, you could do it.
Oh yeah,
It'll
you
take
could do it.
you could do it, but it's got to be compelling. And a lot of the things in scanning, they want to use like this stuff for document classification. Like you could scan a stack and it can learn how to classify the images. So this is an invoice, this is a business card, this is a receipt. Like
Right.
without you separating them and scanning them. So on the edge it can learn patterns with AI and it can learn document types. So that's a really good use case for scanning. And it doesn't take a whole lot of horsepower. So
Oh,
you can actually use that. You could do that. You could even put an LLM on the machine and talk to the machine and say, hey, scan a document, redact it, make sure it sends to Art and Greg, right? So you could do voice interaction using an LLM on a
well, let me ask you that, and I'm glad you brought that up. So when you say it's learning, what does that mean? Right?
just
What's in
learns.
the background there? Is there an AI engine that's
Yeah. It would
okay?
be in the case of classification, it can say it looks at every document and an invoice is an 8.5 by 11 and it's got words like invoice and
Right.
total and net and it's got some characteristics. So it creates a model and it will learn that, hey, when I see the next time around when I see something with these kind of related words and that's classified as an invoice or a receipt has a credit card number, right? And it's got a this. So it can learn on those. Yeah, so it has a learning engine, machine learning on there.
It's
And
machine learning though. They're not tokenized.
The other thing that I would add to that, Kevin, if I could, would be the learning aspect of agentic, and in particular, like with OpenClaw and having your various different files that live within the OpenClaw framework, one of which there's basically three different files: memory, skills, and soul. Those are the three files that live. And as you build new skills in your agent so that they've got the ability to go and talk in Slack or WhatsApp, or they can go and do web searches for you. They can do different things for you. Then that's where potentially that memory that you're describing, that skill of, hey, now I know how to read invoices. Hey, now I know what I need to do with that. And so it can save those into their local skill, and so that's an additional way when you say like memory or training, that's an additional component there, in addition to what Kevin described,
Well,
I believe.
yeah, but I don't know if I'm challenging that. I'm not challenging it. I'm saying like, so if it's an LM based AI, not mechanical learning, not machine learning, but an LL based AI, that the transformer that learns patterns of invoices, but not just from yours, from every invoice that's ever been processed, right? Then I won't need an instruction set because it already knows what an invoice is.
true, but there's always new ones coming in. Like you can't learn
But
a
I
hundred.
don't. But think about it. I'm not taking a picture of an invoice and matching it to a template.
No,
I'm taking the AI is taking the picture of the invoice and matching the patterns and then
that's right.
predictions and things like, it's a contemplative thing. I don't even want to say that,
And you're
right?
getting very advanced, and that's the way the old capture worked. It checked against templates.
Yeah.
You know, it's zone like a zonal OCR, this
Hmm.
zone, and that was very structured, and any kind of variety would break it, right?
Jack it up, coffee
But
stain or wine stain. Yeah.
but the way it's learning now is very resilient, right? It's very flexible. So when it sees a new kind of invoice coming in, it's got a pretty good predicting that I know what this is, right?
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah, so it's totally different. At the end of the day, the results are very similar,
There's
but
also
how,
similar, yeah.
yeah,
The process it's more flexible,
yeah,
and like I said, it's not a template because
yeah,
anyone can throw any invoice through it, and it's
that's
going
right.
to know that it's an invoice,
That's right.
right? Because like just like humans can read the invoice, they'll be able to do that, which changes everything, right? I mean, your whole document management system is in the LL it's a transformer based thing. So that anyway. So which bring that was my copier news, Art. Sorry about that. We went down a little thing with the MPSA, and MPS is growing.
No worries.
What else you want to
Now,
talk
it
about?
was interesting you mentioned Palmer,
Mhm.
because I remember Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh, I didn't even think about that one.
Yes. So you mentioned
ELP.
Robert
Nice.
Palmer. I got confused with Carl Palmer. Well, one of my most favorite songs is "Lucky Man."
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
lucky
right, right.
man he was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there was another one. I think it was "Take a Pebble."
I don't know that one. Those
Yeah,
guys were wild. They were, out there
yeah,
to me.
and the other one was "Still You Turn Me On." 70s.
Well, yeah, I like the 70s.
Yeah, 70s were cool.
Hey, you guys want to tease some news we're going to share this weekend and next week?
Yeah, I was just going to say, why don't we move into
Yeah, let's
ECS?
Okay,
go for it.
so I want to share some news, and for people that are watching this, this is the value of attending a live show. If you would have attended this live instead of watching the recording, you would know this news that we're about to share right here. Okay, and maybe it's not going to revolutionize the universe, but it's relevant to our industry, and we want to share it. So, Art, do I have a screen share here?
You can.
And you guys add color commentary as I go here, okay? And I'll just try to just take a couple minutes.
You are on.
Okay, so here, Art and Greg
What do we got?
are the guys, and they have started a thing called the Cricket's Continuum, okay? And it's about robotics and AI, mostly focused on robots and bringing robots to the office dealer channel and vice versa, taking the channel to the robots, okay? So, and a partner organization is the Twain Working Group. So the Twain Working Group is a 30-year-old plus nonprofit creating open source standards for primarily for copy, to interface from software applications to copy machines and dedicated scanners. So there was news this Thursday that the Twain Working Group, because of Art and Greg and because of the Cricket's Continuum, they said, you know what the robotics industry should have is a billing API. It's a fantastic idea. You guys really nailed it, and your ecosystem really came up with this beautiful idea. And the Twain Working Group endorsed it, and they are now developing a specification that's been developed by the founding companies of the Twain Working Group, and it's a billing API. So basically, if and Art, you and Greg get credit for this. So the number of tasks that a robot did, like if you have an arm, the number of times that it moved an item, 50 times, or the distance traveled by a cart. A cart goes from here to here and it moved 50 feet. Or the amount of time consumed in this activity. It took 20 minutes to do something. So cost per task, cost per time traveled, and cost per
Linear
feet,
foot.
linear feet.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Yep.
then we also came up with another one that was part of the ecosystem, the energy consumed. Okay. So I'm just giving you four very simple examples of an API. So there was news. This came out Thursday. The Twain Working Group published this open source API. Okay. So then this is the news. This is the late breaking stuff. We're going to announce this on Sunday morning. It's from the Cricket's Continuum, and it's taking that Twain open source billing API, but it's creating an application, a data collection agent for robots. So this is something I've been learning. Art and Greg and the whole industry and everybody at ECS knows what DCAs are. I didn't until recently.
Yep.
But we're going to take that same exact concept of a DCA collecting data from copy machines, and the Cricket's Continuum is going to create a DCA for robots. So you can see the metrics of the robot on those billing metrics, just like I saw, like, time consumed, task, and all this. So the data, you could put it in an interface, and then that interface can then be used for billing. So this is news. We'll announce it Sunday. It's going to be part of there's a press release on Sunday afternoon, and then we're going to go, and then they're throwing a party for this news, right? At the Super Bowl.
Yes. It just happens to be during
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So this is the news.
So-
This press release comes out. Go ahead, Art. Yeah.
So the DCA and the billing part of this is what can I say? Should resonate with a lot of office equipment dealers, because for years they've been billing on cost per page to get their long-term. Come on, Greg, help me out.
Their
get
tail.
to get
cut-
their tail or their revenue. Office equipment dealers will sell a machine and they'll get 3 to 5 years worth of maintenance and support out of that device. So basically, if you sell any type of, especially with the AMRs or robots, these machines are going to be $20,000 to $25,000. No company is actually going to invest that type of money and not want a maintenance agreement that's going to fully cover that robot during the term of the lease. More companies are going to lease these robots and AMRs than they're going to purchase them. So again, when it's leased, they want to have that feel good
Peace of
feeling,
mind.
peace of mind that the equipment is covered for the term of the lease, or it doesn't break down, they can't get it repaired. So the dealers are giving a promise with this machine that you lease the machine from us, we're going to support the machine, but we're going to, in order for us to support it and us to make a profit, we're going to bill you for the time used, the time traveled that the machine uses. And in that SLA, we're going to include everything if the machine breaks.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, that's very good. So so what I like about this is it's tactical, but Kevin, can you go back to your the Twain press release?
Sure. Where was I? Over here. Yep.
So and this is going to be part of my talk track all during the show when we go to and during the press, is that this specific attainment here, right? This is big. So all it is developing an API standard for robotics, AMRs, office ready ORRs, office ready robots, so that they can all communicate in the same way. This is where the copier industry was 20, 30 years ago. There were no standards. So with Twain, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, right? I mean, this is big that Twain Robotics is taking this on, having input from both sides of the aisle, I guess, from robotic OEMs as well as copier OEM, and dealers. Hey,
and software companies
and the
financial service companies, print management companies, DCA
print management, other existing DCAs, MPS systems, CRMs, ERPs, all that stuff. And you can tell right now how complicated it is. It's our environment that we've been doing in the copier end and the output side for a long time, but it's 10x that, because these things are moving around, right? There's all sorts of things, but this is a major flag in the ground, and it's not saying what we're going. It probably, you could take it as though we're saying we're going to do it, but we've already done some of it, right? So this is not something that's pie in the sky. I like that Art brought it up tactically. But globally and universally, as a philosophy, this is a big deal.
And that's the thing, Greg, is that, like, we don't want to create something and then go to market with it. We want input now, and that's why we're floating this, right? And it's initial stages, yes, and some of it's built out, yes. We have certain ideas, yes, but we need more people to come in and participate in both the Cricket's Continuing Group and the Twain Working Group too. So we want membership on both sides, and we're completely kind of different companies and organizations, but we do complementary things, right? Twain's very creating the technology, hardcore, create a specification, and Cricket's is kind of more of go to market and the use case and those kind of things. So
Right.
they work nicely together. But if you anybody listening to this recording want to participate in developing this standard, you have a voice at the table if you join these groups. And I highly encourage it because I participated in both. And we started this idea only last summer, right?
Mhm.
And now it's becoming a tangible thing that people can actually monetize. And there's an event at ECS about buzzword to breakthrough, and basically it's like the reality of this is here today, right?
Right.
But it's also the future. So this is, yeah, we want people to come and join our groups and add to it and opine on it and argue it and argue this is good and this is bad and I want this and we want that kind of feedback because it helps everybody at the end of the day. It floats all boats to
Yeah.
Mike's saying.
And it's true. And you know what? Just to pile on, because I know Kevin, you've been involved with these things. I was with the MPSA, CompTIA, and I'm not picking on those guys, but that world back then moved slower. Not that it moved quickly in the industry, but the whole world moved slower. So, like you just alluded to, we started this not that long ago, and look where it is with tangible, real live things in the field working, and go to market strategies with actually deliverables and results, not pie in the sky. It jumps off the whiteboard in 30 seconds nowadays. So I'm
Yeah,
saying you got to get involved now. Is
you
my
got to. And
biggest,
Quasi has committed to put the API on their C2 cart by
yeah.
just, by April. That's only
Which
2 months. Yeah.
That's a major OEM of a robotics company deciding to move that quickly. All right. And I challenge you to pull any copier OEM. And when was the last time they were able to do something that quickly? It isn't. There's one out there
Doesn't
that's
happen.
working with us, and they're pretty freaking fast. But most, the hierarchy. Anyway, don't get me going. But yeah, this is the time to get involved right
Yeah,
now.
you've seen copier companies, right, come out with different platforms, but it took them almost 2 years from the initial concept until it actually came to fruition where it was available to end users. And with the way technology was moving so quickly, by the time they came out of it, it was passe.
Yep.
They passed the point. How can they say jump
They
the
were
shark?
they jumped the tank. Yeah, yeah. Their relevancy escaped them because they were
Yes.
too low. Yeah,
They
They
were too
missed their
slow.
window.
they missed the window.
Yeah.
And so the late to me, this is kind of personal.
Mm.
The latest. Go ahead, Art.
And that's what's going to happen with by the time they put AI into copy machines.
Good point. Yeah, yeah. By the time they put,
By the time they do it, it's going to be too late.
it's too late. Yeah.
So
Well,
back to what you were saying.
I think I forgot what I was going to say, but well, it's around timing and stuff, right? So I've used this analogy before. It's like when you like in a copier deal, if you write the RFP, you'll win the RFP, right? So,
Wow, that is incredible. Can you
Isn't
imagine
that
a fleet
weird?
of robots and in the RFP, there's an API
Yeah. Your
and a
API.
DCA.
Yeah, your DCA. Oh, this is what I would say. Listen, so
Wow.
I find this very similar to MPS in the early days because I was involved with the second generation of MPS, which was the biggest one, the last move when nobody had MPS programs. Xerox was the only one, nobody else had them. So we were out evangelizing this cool new thing. And what the industry did, they took the idea of reducing the number of printers and devices in the field, which pure MPS would do, and then they destroyed it. They tried to recreate it in their own image, which was to sell more copiers. What I like about this, the robotics and the AI angle, it's coming from outside the industry. There's no way any of the OEMs can grab this and make it their own. It's too big. There's no way they can make it on there. So we're right at the edge. We're at the bleeding edge, the tip of the spear. But this is a real life thing that's going to last for a long time, and it really fits into what we, Thanks, Kevin, for saying we bring office robots to the office and the office to the robots because we do. In addition to increasing revenue, reducing costs, and growing profits, the two that we add are attract good talent and guarantee and sustain your legacy. That's really what Cricket's The Continuum is about. The other three are a given, but those two, because again, it sounds like I've said it a million times, but try and go hire a technician to fix copiers. No one wakes up in the morning and says, hey, I can't wait to go fix a copier. But they might say, hey, I got to go fix a robot today. Right?
Yep.
So boom, right there. And then
I get to go work
We
on
talked
a
about
robot.
having a field engineer, right? Having at some point in the future, having a team of field engineers, those guys that are equipped with some AI skills. Maybe they can do some low code, no code type of things, but also seasoned vets out in the field of working on hardware. And so it seems like there's a need for that. What my son, who does that similar type of work, would call a field engineer, that translates somewhere between what the sales guy sold and what the customer is expecting, and then somewhere in between.
Wait a minute, how dare you? Are you insinuating that salespeople make promises
Never.
keep? Yeah. About that. But yeah, so boy, Kevin, thanks for bringing those up.
No problem.
Right?
I'm super excited. And Greg, and this is the last thing I'll say, is that it is happening organically, right? Like in
Yeah.
in our industry, no offense, but it is, right? Is that the manufacturers create some hardware and software and they put it on a price list, and then the dealers had to basically mark that up, and that was business. But now you have the freedom to create your own solutions and pick this and pick that. So you have the freedom, and you have the ability to build the way that you want to build a customer, right? It's so
Develop
flexible,
your own. Yep.
right? Pay as you go instead of a fixed cost of things, right? So
Right.
in the robotics thing, these people want the robots working because they're actually doing work and creating revenues, right?
Well, actually, yeah, you've actually swerved into it even more, because as these devices become integral in the existing workflow, they begin to define better workflows.
That's
And
right.
now they are even more embedded into a real workflow. We talk about workflow digitally, moving digital images all around, but these things impact physical workflows.
Because in the print business, you want to like reduce print because I'm paying for $1 a page for color, right? But
Right.
you want the robots working 24/7 because it's picking stuff off the shelf and shipping stuff out that I generate revenue from, right? So I
Right.
want those things working 24/7 all the time. So
Three shifts through Christmas,
yeah,
yes. And to swerve into that, we still see a human / robot interface, right?
yes.
So that can, I'm not going to say never, but right now the way the systems are set up, the human in the loop is the loop. That's just the way it is. So, but in that, that's the way it should be. But yeah, good time. I can't overstress your guys' announcement, the Twain announcement. That's a big deal.
It's
That's
big.
a huge deal.
It's big. We want more companies to come in and help develop the world's protocol to end all protocol. That's
Cool.
what we want to do. Well, thank you.
Excellent.
No worries. No worries. Fantastic stuff. And I'm sure we're going to be talking quite a bit about it on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. So interesting times coming up. Everybody, it's 5 o'clock. We have reached the witching hour, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please like, follow, and share. And we are, I don't know if we're going to have a show next Friday.
Oh, you're at a show, aren't you, Art?
I'm a show in Atlantic City. I might get home in time, but I don't think I put anything on the calendar. So I think we're going to take a Friday off, and
Yes.
we're going to rejoin everybody in 2 weeks from today.
Very good.
With that, thank you very much, Greg, as always. And Greg, I have to admit, your mic is fantastic now. Kevin Neal, thanks for your words of wisdom.
Thank you guys.
Dan, thanks for the picture of whatever it is on your screen and your input.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Yeah.